the global news on Atlantic Television Network. First, the headlines. Illegally refined diesel. Navy destroys boats with illegally refined diesel. Governor Aliyu presents 270.1 billion naira 2024 budget. Wraps past 2024 appropriation bill for second reading. CBN to freeze bank accounts without BVN NIN. War resumes in Gaza after truce expires. ICPC police cleared Banj of N-Power fraud, rape. Germany, France set for under 17 final rematch. And now to the rest of our stories. Nigerian Navy says its personnel have impounded and destroyed a boat conveying drums of illegally refined automated gas off Bonny Island Channel in Rivers State. Top official of the Navy in Bonny, who did not want his name mentioned, disclosed this to newsmen on Friday, saying the boat was arrested off the Bonny River. The official added the recent efforts by the security outfit were predicated on the charge of the Chief Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala, asking officers and men to stamp out criminal activities in the maritime domain. He also said the feat was in tandem with the operations declared by the flag officer commanding Eastern Naval Commander Rear Admiral Olusola Oluwabire, and a reaffirmation of the Nigerian Navy's stance against crimes, especially those related to crude oil theft, which he said has contributed to the recent rise in crude oil production. The Nigerian Air Force helicopter crashed in Port Harcourt, the River State capital, on Friday morning, and NAF spokesman Edward Kabgwet confirmed the development in the statement. He said all those on board survived, though they sustained minor injuries and are currently being attended to at NAF Medical Center, Port Harcourt. The helicopter crashed at exactly 7:45 a.m. shortly after it took off for an operation against economic saboteurs in River State. Indigenous people of Biafra has alleged that Governor Peter Mbah was under pressure from Asarok to blackmail the Supreme Court ahead of its leader, Nnamdi Kanu's December 15 judgment. IPOB was referring to Mbah's remark where he described the group as a proscribed organization. Mbah made the remark while addressing the State House correspondents after visiting President Bola Tinubu at the presidential villa Abuja. However, IPOB warned that the governor would be making a costly mistake if he continued to use the group's name to buy favor from Tinubu's administration. The IPOB therefore urged the public to ignore the ranting of a governor who is under pressure from the federal government to demonize IPOB, especially as the Supreme Court judgment of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is dated. Authorities of the Lagos State Traffic Management Authority have arraigned 12 officials for corrupt practices and absenteeism. The agency's public relations officer, Adebayo Taofik, disclosed this in a statement made available to journalists on Friday. According to the statement, while 11 officers were found guilty of the allegations brought against them, one officer was cleared by the disciplinary panel. Taofik quoted the agency's acting general manager, Bakari Oki, as saying the panel suggested a number of sanctions, including immediate termination of appointment, rank reduction, and dismissal. Bakari added that severe punishment will be meted out to officers who beat the law, adding that the public should desist from offering last-minute official bribes. Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has withdrawn the money laundering charge filed against the former Attorney General of Lagos State, Olasupo Shasore. Shasore was arraigned alongside his company, Middlesex Investment Limited, on a 14-count charge of money laundering before Justice Inyang Eko in November 2022. At the day's proceedings, counsel for the EFCC, Palasanga, told the judge that the Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi, has directed the anti-graft agency via a letter to withdraw the charge. Counsel to Shasore, Olawole Akoni, did not oppose the application. Justice Eko subsequently granted the application and discharged the defendant. Former Lagos Attorney General had represented Nigeria in the PNID case. The PNID had won a $9.6 billion judgment against Nigeria in a British court. Local government chairmen in Benue State from the All Progressive Congress have accused Governor Hyacinth Alia of a deliberate refusal to collaborate with the party's leadership and members in the state. The accusation was outlined in a communique issued after the forum's meeting on Friday. In the communique, the forum highlighted instances of strained relations between Governor Hyacinth Alia and the party, citing inaccessibility, non-responsiveness to phone calls, and the exclusion of party leadership in key government appointments. The forum expressed dissatisfaction with the recent constitution of local government caretaker communities, alleging that the governor unilaterally produced a list that included individuals from opposition parties who did not support the party's victory. The forum led by Osna Gada expressed satisfaction with the national APC leadership, including Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president of Nigeria, and Senator George Akume, the secretary to the government of federation, the leader of party in Benue State and the North Central geopolitical zone. However, the forum distanced itself from Governor Alia's decision to sideline the party's leadership in the formulation of policies and programs. Gunmen have attacked the residence of the resident electoral commissioner of the Independent National Electoral Commission in Lokoja, the Kogi state capital. Chief Press Secretary to the INEC Chairman Rotimi Oyekanmi disclosed this in a statement on Friday in Abuja. He said the REC, Dr. Hali Longpet, was hale and hearty as security personnel attached to him were able to hold off the attackers before reinforcement. Recall that some protesters branded in Social Democratic Party shirts had on Wednesday besieged the INEC office in Lokoja, claiming that the commission was working with the state government to tamper with the election materials. One of them, who identified himself as Danjuma, said they were sure the materials of the INEC office had been compromised by the APC, vowing that those who stole his mandate, people's mandate, must not live to enjoy it. Meanwhile, Nigeria Police Force has commenced an investigation into the attack on the home of Kogi State INEC resident electoral commissioner Gabriel Longpet. The police public relations officer in Kogi State, SP Williams Ovi Aya, in a statement on Friday, said the commissioner of police, Bertrand Onoha, condemned the attack on the REC president. Aya disclosed that the Nigeria Police Force remains resolute in apprehending the perpetrators of this act and bringing them to deserve. All Progressives Congress in Kogi State has called for the immediate arrest and prosecution of the governorship candidate of the Social Democratic Party, Maritala Yakubu Ajaka, in the November 11 governorship poll in the state. Addressing a press conference in Lokoja on Friday, spokesperson for Kogi State APC Campaign Council, Kingsley Fanwa, alleged that the SDP governorship candidate masterminded the attack on the residence of the Kogi State Resident Electoral Commissioner Gabriel Longpet after engaging security agents in a fierce gun battle and eventually burning down some vehicles in the residence. Fanwa alleged that the same arsonist also attempted Members of the Nasarawa State House of Assembly on Friday unanimously elected Danladi Jatu, who represents the Kokona East State constituency, as the new speaker. Jatu, a member of the All Progressive Congress, became the speaker unopposed less than 3 days after the appeal court sacked the former speaker, Ibrahim Balare Abdullahi Mohammed Oyanki. Mohammed Oyanki, representing the Doma South State constituency on the platform of the PDP, was elected the deputy speaker. Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja on Tuesday, November 28th, in its verdict sacked the speaker. Before his removal by the court, Abdullahi was a member of the APC who first came to the assembly in 2015 and was elected speaker. He was re-elected as a member and speaker in 2019 and returned in 2023, both as a member and speaker. He was a member representing the Umar Shah Ugia State constituency of the local government area of the state. Reacting, Jatau, who promised to unite the Assembly, also said he would sustain the cordial working relationship between the legislature and the executive. He appreciated the members for the confidence reposed in him and promised to carry all members along in the scheme of things. Sokoto State Governor Ali Sokoto has presented a budget proposal of 270.1 billion naira for the 2024 fiscal year to the State Assembly, with the education sector topping the allocation with 42.8 billion naira. Accordingly, the health sector got the allocation over 31 billion naira, with capital expenditure attracting 172.2 billion naira, while recurrent gulps over 98 billion naira. Presenting the budget tagged Budgets of Hope and Resilience for Infrastructural Development, Sokoto said the incoming year would focus primarily on the administration's agenda to ensure the economic prosperity of the state through the execution of human-oriented projects that would open the horizon for citizens in the state. He explained that the budget was driven by the reflection of the views of the people of the state, hence the need for the administration to be focused with determination for the benefit of all. The governor, who noted that banditry was fast given away, reassured that his administration would emphasize measures aimed at protecting citizens in the state. However, dignitaries in attendance included the Sultan of Sokoto Mohammed Saad Abubakar, the immediate past Speaker of the State Assembly, former of Police Affairs Muhammadu Maigari Ding Yadi, former Deputy Governor Abdullah Chiso Dachjo, former Speaker Lawali Labumakai, Aminu Mania Achida. All Progressive Congress has filed a two-ground cross-appeal at the Supreme Court to challenge the judgment of the Court of Appeal for refusal to disqualify the Governor of Kano State, Abba Yusuf, from contesting the election over alleged certificate forgery. In a notice of appeal filed by Akin Olujimi, the APC lawyer, dated Wednesday, the party mentioned two grounds in its cross-appeal. Citing the particulars of the errors in the judgment, Olujimi added that contrary to the holding of the lower court, a decision on it goes to the issue of non-qualification of the second cross-respondent to contest the election and disputes in this appeal. The APC, however, sought an order from the Supreme Court to allow the cross-appeal. Recall that the Court of Appeal had upheld the decision of Kano State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal. The court declared APC's Nasiru Gawuna the winner of the March 18 gubernatorial election in Kano. But the appellate court partly reversed this decision in the certified true copy of the judgment released 4 days later. Break.
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
It's Christmas season, hooray! A time to make merry with loved ones, a time to give thanks, and a time to be a blessing. May your holiday season be filled with joy, laughter, and beautiful moments. From all of us in Morrison Television Network, we wish you a Merry Christmas full of amazing National Agricultural follows Mr. President's directive on road raising their pensions next year, according to the National Salaries, Income and Wages Commission. NSIWC told the Executive Committee of the Nigeria Union of Pensioners nationwide that the Commission is following up on the report it submitted to the federal government as regards the pensions of retirees. The pensioners, led by their chairman Samuel Adewale, paid a courtesy visit to the chairman of the Wages Commission, Ekpo Ntah, where the NWISC boss answered some of their questions, according to a statement issued in Abuja on Friday by the Commission's head of press unit, Emmanuel Njoku. 2024 appropriation bill has scaled second reading in the House of Representatives after 2 days of debate. Some lawmakers were concerned about the plan of the government to generate revenue from heavy tax, fearing that it will greatly affect importers. Others say the proposed 1.7 million barrels per day of crude production is unrealistic. The committees will now have 2 weeks to conclude the budget defense process. President Bola Tinubu presented the 2024 budget proposal before the lawmakers on Wednesday. The president, who addressed the joint session of the National Assembly in Abuja, charged both arms of the legislative arm to work assiduously and conclude with reasonable dispatch their deliberations on the 2024 budget estimates of 27.5 trillion naira. The president said the budget of renewed hope will ensure macroeconomic stability, poverty reduction, and greater access to social security, among others. Stakeholders as the public works, environment, and justice are all endorsing the use of concrete cement for the construction of roads in the country as against asphalt. The immense debates by stakeholders includes construction companies, the Federal Ministry of Works, Federal Road Maintenance Agency, among others. Chairman Committee on Works set the tone for the discussion and stressed the need for road infrastructure for the economic growth and development of the country. On a spot, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, who was represented at the hearing by the representatives, come up with legislation that will enable the executive achieve its vision for Nigeria.
The primary objective of the House in passing the resolution that prompted this hearing was to draw stakeholders in the ongoing discourse about whether the adoption of concrete technology in road construction in Nigeria is a feasible alternative or not. The Parliament must safeguard and protect the interests of society and all stakeholders. The House has been engaging relevant parties by requesting submissions on critical road projects, such as the tour of Abuja-Kaduna Road and the Abuja-Lokoja-Obajana Road, among others. However, the committee was disappointed to see the significant level of decay on our roads. What is even more concerning is that in some ongoing projects, the work on site is not proportional to the funds allocated to them. There is no doubt that we all must come together to chart a new course for our country if we want to ameliorate the sufferings of the masses. That is why the issue of adopting concrete technology for road construction must be subjected to a thought process to ensure value for money. Hence, this public hearing has...
This was legislative initiative to enable the executive achieve its vision for Nigeria. The issue of infrastructure development and renewal is critical to the Renew Hope agenda of the current administration. No person that is not obvious of the global condition situation on our roads will be satisfied with the state of roads, either from the north, the south, or from east, the west. Series of nightmare on how the roads have become death trap, and even worse still in kidnapping point. About indeed, it is a situation that calls for urgent actions from all of us. In this tense House of Representatives, one of our cardinal objectives is to improve national security so as to ensure economic growth and development. This explains why our sectoral debate, service chiefs were the first set of public officers engaged to have good understanding on their efforts in tackling the security challenges confronting us as a nation. For us in the House of Representatives, we believe that improved security will enable people to move about with their businesses, while good infrastructure, especially roads is a guarantee for economic growth.
In their responses, most of the stakeholders seem to endorse concrete, as argued by representatives of the Minister of Works and Director Highways Constructions and Rehabilitation, Engineer Adedamola Kuti. According to them, part of concrete roads being cheaper.
In Nigeria today, we have, if I'm permitted to say, we have two companies in Nigeria that supply 80% of bitumen that is being sold to contractors. And number one is Golden Bitumen, seconded by Aska Bitumen, which is also ably represented here today. So, I mean, our whole notion today is to tell you and assure you that the bitumen that is being circulated in Nigeria is duly certified by NNDPRA, is in line with the certification given by the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing,
resulting in reduced travel time and an improved overall users.
Director of FEMA called for more sources of funding for the agency to deliver fully on its mandate. He says the agency is prepared to cooperate with the House Committee to serve the country optimally.
We believe that there's a lot to learn from road agencies from other countries. So to date, we have partnership with the SANRA, which is the South African National Road Agency. We have an MOU with them on road-related matters. We have a collaboration with the Namibian road authorities. Namibia currently has the best roads in Africa. We're also trying to forge relationships with the National Highways Authority of India, which we've already started talking to. We feel that establishment and partnership will help us. It may not be in terms of finance, but it will help us develop the skill base we have in our country.
Senator Oluremi Tinubu has charged community leaders to join hands to enforce the fight against HIV/AIDS in order to eradicate it from the African continent. This is contained in a statement by Busola Kukoyi, the senior special advisor to the First Lady on Media on Friday in Zimbabwe. Mrs. Tinubu gave the advice during the commemoration of the 2023 World AIDS Day with the theme "Let Communities Lead." The First Lady said the epidemic can only be eradicated with the active involvement of leaders of various communities leading in the war against it. The event was organized by the First Lady of Zimbabwe, Dr. Ozela Nangagwa, ahead of the 22nd edition of the International Conference on AIDS and STI in Africa. The conference, which had participants from the United Nations and other sister agencies, speaks about the need to scale up advocacy and education about the pandemic. The meeting also highlighted the elimination of mother-to-child transmission and the elimination of newborn infections in Africa. And now to business news. Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry has challenged the federal government on the need to scale up the performance of the capital expenditure in the proposed 2024 budget. The LCCI gave the charge in reaction to the proposed 2024 budget of 27.5 trillion naira presented to the National Assembly by President Bola Tinubu on Wednesday. In a statement, Director General LCCI Dr. Chiyere Almona noted that the proposed 2024 budget is the biggest in the country's history, while highlighting some recommendations for implementation. LCCI also noted that relative to Nigeria's GDP size, the proposed budget is 12.2%, which is very low compared to its African peers like South Africa, with a government expenditure to the GDP ratio of 32.5%, Egypt 24.7%, Kenya 23.0%, and Ghana 27.1%. Accounts without a bank verification number or national identification number from April 2024. This is according to a Friday circular by the Apex Bank, which instructed banks to place a post-no debit restriction, which prevents customers from making withdrawals, transfer, or any other debits for all existing Tier 1 accounts or wallets without BVN or NIN. It also said all BVN or NIN attached to accounts wallets must be electronically revalidated by January 31st, 2024. According to the bank, a BVN or NIN verification will be conducted shortly, adding that the move is part of its effort to promote financial system stability and strengthening the Know Your Customer procedures in financial institutions. House of Representatives has accused the Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority of hiding billions of eternally generated revenue and depriving the nation of its financial responsibility. The House of Reps Committee on Finance threatened to remove the managing director and other top officials from the authority to allow more transparent leaders. Representative James Falake, APC Lagos, said this is the resumed interactive session with revenue-generating agencies in adding revenue generated, which was why it refused to give the committee the requested data on the number of passengers that flew airlines. He, however, promised that the committee would get the money no matter how hard the NCAA tried to hide it. The committee unanimously agreed that if the NCAA came back and could not produce the requested document on or before December 14, it would affect their seat. And now to international tidbits. Israeli military has announced it resumed combat operations, accusing Hamas of violating the truce, first by firing rockets. Office of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the Israeli government is committed to achieving the goals of the war, to free our hostages, to eliminate Hamas, and to ensure that Gaza will never pose a threat. That Hamas had said Israel bore responsibility for the end of the truce, accusing it of rejecting all offers to release more of the hostages militants in the enclave are holding. Barely 2 hours after the military reported that 32 people had already been killed in airstrikes. The 7-day pause, which began on November 24th, was extended twice, had allowed for the exchange of hostages held in Gaza for Palestinian prisoners, and facilitated the entry of humanitarian aid into the shattered coastal strip. Meanwhile, Iran on Friday blamed Israel and the United States for a resumption of fighting in Gaza Strip. Iran's foreign ministry spokesman Nasser Kanani said in a post on X that the political and legal responsibility for the continuation of the aggression and massacre rests with Israel, the US, and a few governments that supports this apartheid regime. Deadly fighting restarted in Gaza on Friday, immediately after the expiration of a 7-day truce between Israel and Iran-backed Hamas militants. On Thursday, U.S. top diplomat Antony Blinken, in a meeting with Israel, hostilities to be extended and warned any resumption of combat must protect Palestinian civilians. Prime Minister Christopher Luxon says across New Zealand as his fledgling government looks to turn around the country's plummeting literacy rates. New Zealand schools once boasted some of the world's best literacy scores, but levels of reading and writing have declined to the point that some researchers fear there is a classroom crisis. Luxon declared he would ban phones at schools within his first 100 days in office, adopting a policy trailed with mixed results in the United States, United Kingdom, and France. He said the move would stop disruptive behavior and help students focus. Luxon has also agreed to restart offshore oil and gas exploration, junking one of former Premier Jacinda Ardern's signature climate change policies. And now to entertainment news. Nigerian singer Banjo, popularly known as D'banj, has been cleared of rape and N-Power fraud allegations by the Nigeria Police Force and the Independent Corrupt Practices and other related documents obtained by ATN on Friday. Atlantic television agencies gave their test a clean slate and separate clearance report upon completion of investigations. In an affidavit deposed by Tohib Lawal of Abuja-based law firm before the District Court of Abuja, wherein the reports of Nigeria Police Force investigation and clearance from the ICPC were marked Exhibits A and B, the legal practitioner averred that the police and the ICPC cleared the singer of rape and fraud allegations. In 2020, the singer was accused of rape, and the Inspector General of Police ordered an investigation into the allegation. In response to an injury, the Commission cleared D'banj of any infraction on the matter. Grammy-winning Nigerian musician Burna Boy has been ranked the most streamed artist in sub-Saharan Africa for the second time in a row. This was announced in a release by Spotify Rap 2023. Spotify Rap 2023 is an annual data review of how people listen to music and podcasts on the platform. Burna Boy remains the most streamed African artist. The 2023 Spotify Wrapped showed dominance in the music scene across the continent with Shakira, Davido, and Omale occupying a spot on the top 10 list. Nigerian street hop rapper Oladibs has refuted popular claims that he faked his death to promote his new album Superhero Adibo, blending in from rapper Q Dot. The frustrated rapper called Q Dot out on his Instagram story, stating that they had not spoken in over a year before the incident. He then added that speculation on social media was all put together by bloggers and people attempting to cancel him. Oladip stressed that he was fighting for his life during the time it was announced that he passed away, adding that Q Dot was the reason it began to look like he faked his death. Q Dot was not the only person who received the lashing from Oladip. He also called out his childhood friend Wavy, stating that he contributed to the notion on social media by posting. Here now is sports news. Standing captain Rashidat Ajibade says the Super Falcons must keep working hard despite comprehensive victory against Cape Verde. The Falcons thrashed their fellow West Africans 5-0 in the first leg of the 2024 Women's Africa Cup of Nations qualifier at the Moshood Abiola Stadium, Abuja. Uchenna Kanu and Esther Okoronkwo bagged the brace each, while Gift Monday scored the goal. Cape Verde must score 6 goals without conceding in the reverse fixture to stop the Super Falcons from securing a place at the 2024 WAFCON finals, which will be hosted by Morocco. Ajibade stated that they must keep their feet on the ground despite the first leg result. With some of the key stars missing, interim head coach Justin Madugu has been forced to introduce some of the young players to the team. The second leg is slated for the Estadio Nacional de Cabo Verde here next Tuesday. Germany and World Cup football final in Indonesia, a rematch of this year's Euro final in the category of the Germans won on penalties. The young Germans, who also beat France 3-1 in the group stage of the Euros last June, are bidding for their first world title. Borussia Dortmund forward Paris Brunner, 17, will lead the German attack, having scored a brace in the semi-final against Argentina. Jean-Luc Vanucci's France beats Mali 2-1 in their semi-final, and boasts defense, which has so far only conceded 1 goal. The French coach will be counting on Rennes striker Mathis Lambode and Valenciennes midfielder Ismail Bouneb, who proved decisive in both the quarter and semi-finals. France last won the tournament in 2001. And that's the global news for tonight. Before we go, another look at the major stories. Navy destroys boats with illegally refined diesel. Governor Aliyu presents 270.1 billion naira 2024 budget. Reps passed 2024 appropriation bill for second reading. CBN